Hello, everybody, and welcome to my Week 5 picks in the NFL. A little bit belated, but we'll still be on time for all of the games except for the game that is being played the day I'm recording this and will be played in about 40 minutes. So who knows, maybe I'll get it up in time. Nonetheless, I picked this game on my Facebook page beforehand. It is the Rams at the Seahawks, and we picked the Seattle Seahawks 31-27, I believe. I do know for sure that we picked Seattle to win. The Rams looked awful last week against Tampa Bay on defense. Keep in mind that offense still scored over 40 points. Was it over 40? It was over 35. Because I know they had the pick 6 by Marcus Peters. But that offense can still roll. But Pete Carroll and the Seattle Seahawks are 25-5-1 on prime time. Thursday Night Football, baby. 12th man is going to be howling for them. And I think Seattle will escape with a late 31-27 win. We got the Jets at the Eagles, which, as you all know, is one of our let's get through this game as quick as we can. I was wrong about the Eagles, though, like I have been on Thursday Night Football for most of the season. Eagles showed some really great fight and got Alshon Jeffrey going really early and kind of dominated that whole game. The Jets don't have a prayer until Sam Darnold comes back. This is going to be a quick game for the Eagles. It's going to be an in and out, boring kind of game. Let's give it to the Eagles 31-10, maybe 17, but I'm going to stick with 10. I almost didn't read my notes correctly. I was going to say Jags at the Patriots. I'm like, that's not right. Jags at the Panthers. This is a really interesting game. Jacksonville at Carolina. Both teams are on the up swing. I was wrong again about Gardner Minshew, and the Broncos failed me again. But nonetheless, he's played really well, and that fourth quarter drive to go down the field and win the game was really impressive. But even Kyle Allen played a little worse last week against Houston, but enough to win. He had a lot of fumbles, and McCaffrey pretty much carried him through the whole game. But nonetheless, the Panthers actually played a really, really good game for them, and they have, I think, one of the best rushing defenses in the league right now. That being said, Carolina reminds me a lot of that Titans team that Jacksonville pretty much obliterated a couple weeks ago. I actually picked the Panthers in my notes. I'm going to retract that, and I'm actually going to pick the Jacksonville Jaguars here because of their defensive line and because of their defense. They got after Marcus Mariota in that Thursday night game 2 weeks ago. I think they're going to feast here because Kyle Allen's a young quarterback. Calais Campbell might have another 3 sacks. I'm going to take the Jaguars in this game. Let's take this one 18. Let's do 18-14. 18-14. Vikings at the Giants. I'm very happy again for Daniel Jones. It was a little shaky in the later parts of that game that he played, but he's looked really good. And now he's going to run into a buzzsaw of a defense for the Minnesota Vikings, who, by the way, played very well against Chicago. Just their quarterback is awful. Kirk Cousins is giving them 84 million reasons to cut him, but they can't because it's fully guaranteed. Who did they pay the wrong guy? And I feel so bad for Vikings fans everywhere because I want that team to be good. I'm going to pick the Vikings in this one, though, solely because of that defense. We know Daniel Jones in the Tampa game had some fumbling issues. I see that being a continuing issue here in the Vikings game. Kirk Cousins is going to get a couple deep shots in, and what better defense to do it? Well, other than the Washington Redskins, what better defense than the New York Giants defense? This is going to be a comeback game for Kirk Cousins. Not a great game for him, but a better game than what he's had so far, which, to be honest, is not going to be that difficult for him to do. So I'm going to take the Minnesota Vikings in this one. The popular score of mine, 28-14. Falcons at the Texans. Ooh, Atlanta, you let me down. Or maybe I'm just perpetually wrong about the Tennessee Titans because I don't think I've picked one of that team's games correctly this season. The Texans, though, kind of lost another close one, unfortunately, to the Carolina Panthers, where they had it in tow. They couldn't get it going. DeAndre Hopkins couldn't get it going through an interception even. I think they're going to right the ship here, though. I'm going to take the Houston Texans in this one. Atlanta is a fun team to watch. I mean, albeit they're a little scary, but they're fun. But their defense is a little bit of a turnstile at times. They have issues tackling. And now you're going against Deshaun Watson and DeAndre Hopkins. Good luck. I'm going to take the Houston Texans 27-20. Buccaneers at the New Orleans Saints. I am done doubting the New Orleans Saints and their defense. Teddy Bridgewater did not play well against the Cowboys. He played well enough to win, but he didn't play well. He is 30th overall in QBR, I believe. Bottom of the pack. Not an outstanding quarterback because he doesn't have to be. The thing with Teddy Bridgewater is they need him to not lose games, and right now he is not because their defense is playing like one of the best units in the NFL. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, although, have a very good defense themselves, but, on the road against the Saints, divisional game, I think the Saints are going to pull this one out. It's going to be a slugfest. Kind of like Tampa Bay's first game, but not as many turnovers, the game they had against the 49ers. So I'm going to take the New Orleans Saints in another low-scoring game. Let's take them 14-9. That's not fair to the Bucs. Let's go 21-17 because that Bucs offense is good. They're going to score touchdowns, not field goals. Bills at Titans. This is my biggest head-scratcher game of the week because I don't know if Josh Allen is playing. That certainly affects my pick. All the research and all the looking into it I've done suggests he is going to play, which will prompt me to take the Buffalo Bills in this game. Unless the Tennessee Titans have something to say about it. I'm almost to the point where I don't want to talk about this team in these kind of videos because I've been so wrong about them every single week. It's kind of amazing how wrong I've been about them. Just it's all documented. Go back and listen to all my incorrect opinions about this team and when I feel they're going to step up. But in this one, it'll be close. I think it'll be just like the game they had last year where Josh Allen had to drive them down to kick a game-winning field goal at the end of the game. Let's give them the final score of 23-21. Cardinals at the Bengals. Ooh. I want to make this a let's get through this as quick as we can, but we can't. There's some intrigue in this game. Two teams that don't have a win. The Bengals at home. They looked awful on Monday Night Football. They have a short week, have a high-powered Cardinals offense coming in. I'm going to take the Bengals. I think the Cardinals have massive issues, and I think it all rests within their offensive scheme of putting too much on Kyler Murray's plate too early. If you look at like the divvying chart of what's going on with their offense, he's throwing a lot of short passes. It's almost like watching Sam Darnold. You aren't going to win football games like that because the speed of players at the NFL level is elite. It is world class. You are not going to throw 2-yard passes on every single play and make it work. You might throw them every once in a while if you're running like button curls 10 to 15 yards down the field. That'll open up your flat routes. But if you're running flats and sticks and spots every single play and you're only throwing the ball for like 3 yards, you are not going to get anywhere in this league. Andy Dalton and the Bengals don't have A.J. Green. This is probably the first time I'm ever going to pick the Bengals without A.J. Green. And they lost John Ross. But the Cardinals are so bad on defense, they can't cover a tight end to save their lives. Tyler Eifert's going to take us back to about 4 years ago when he was like arguably one of the best tight ends in the game. And Andy Dalton's going to throw 3 touchdowns because this Cardinals team can't stop a nosebleed right now. They need a punch in the mouth. And honestly, that punch in the mouth might not come until Patrick Peterson joins them again. So I'm going to take the Bengals. Now, with all the crap I just talked about the Arizona Cardinals, it's not going to be a blowout. They're going to lose this game close. It's going to be 28-24 or something like that. That'll be the score I actually picked, 28-24. Bengals, book it. All right, another edition. A new challenger has emerged in the let's get through this as quick as we can, and it's the Washington Redskins for ineptitude unbeknownst to the NFL. Oh my goodness, this team is bad. This team is so bad. And if it is Dwayne Haskins going in to play this game, no shot at all. Patriots 42, Redskins 12. No shot. Ravens at Steelers. I'm very happy with myself that I was correct about that Ravens game. That they got kind of punched in the mouth. Now, they're going to be mad. And they're going to go after a team that has a little bit of momentum going, but you played the Bengals. The Ravens are going to go in. They're going to run all over this Steelers team. It's not going to be a pretty game. If you're a Baltimore fan, it will be, though, because I think that this game's actually going to be about as bad as the whooping that Cleveland put on Baltimore in the fourth quarter of that game last Sunday. Except it'll be like that for the entire game. So we're going to end this one with a final score of 38-17. This is not even going to be close. Lamar Jackson is going to run all over. he might even have more rushing yards than passing yards in this game because I think Baltimore's going to try and get back to their basics. But what they need to start worrying about is their defense, because if you're going to give up 500 yards in 3 straight games, especially to this Steeler team, you got trouble. Like Music Man style, you got trouble. Bears at Raiders. Chicago lost their quarterback, but I don't think it matters. Like, that's probably one of the only teams in the league that can lose their quarterback and nothing would change. That's a defense-driven team. They're on the road. It doesn't matter. Oakland squeaked away with a win last week, though. They're starting to rally. They're playing well. I still don't believe in them, though. Chicago's a playoff team. They're going to keep it rolling. They're not going to ask Chase Daniels to do that. Chase Daniels, sorry, I misspoke, to do that much. And they're kind of going to wallop them, but in the Joe Flacco way I talked about in week 1, where it's close for most of the game, and then it just gets out of hand and out of reach in the second half. So let's go 17-7. Broncos at Chargers. Broncos, you keep letting me down, and for that reason, I'm picking the Los Angeles Chargers. They got Melvin Gordon back. That might help them out a lot. Goodness gracious, does Denver have issues stopping the run. And now without Bradley Chubb, Melvin Gordon might go out for 150 and 2 touchdowns this Sunday against the Denver Broncos. And that will prompt me to also pick the Chargers to win this game big. 31 to 20. They'll win by 2 scores. I just don't trust the Broncos at this point. They keep losing people. They might be trading their entire team at this point. Like, no one knows what's going on with them. Packers at the Cowboys. I'm very intrigued by this game. I was super wrong about the Cowboys. They went up against a pretty good defense and got shut down hard. Amari Cooper's dealing with an injury in his ankle, I believe. Dak is showing some signs of, I'm not playing Miami and the Redskins every week, so I'm not that great. The Packers, though, did not look good against the Eagles. I see a lot of people picking the Cowboys solely off of that. I will not fall into that line. I'm picking the Green Bay Packers in this game. Their defense looked great in the first couple of weeks. Sure, they played Chicago in that first game. Sure, whatever. I'm still taking the Green Bay Packers. Clutch moments, big games, clutch moments. And the Packers, after losing last week, need to win this game to keep pace with Chicago. And even to keep pace with the Detroit Lions, another team I was super wrong about. They have a bye week this week, the Detroit Lions do. But on my next picks video, I will give them the love that they deserve, because that team played great. But we're not talking about the Lions. We're talking about the Green Bay Packers, who will be without Devontae Adams. I don't even think it matters. They will probably also be without Jamal Williams. I don't think it matters. I'm picking the Packers in an upset in this one. Last minute or so, game-winning drive by Aaron Rodgers, reminiscent of that playoff victory in Jerry World. I think this game is also, this game is in Jerry World. It is in Dallas. So, Green Bay Packers 24, Dallas Cowboys 21. Sunday Night Football, Colts at the Chiefs. I got to take the Kansas City Chiefs, just like I do every week. Again, Colts fans, I'm sorry. You also lost to Oakland, though. So you lost all privileges that you... No, I'm just joking. I am totally joking. Any team can win on any given Sunday. But on this given Sunday, the Colts have no shot. They are going to get eviscerated and obliterated. Is eviscerated even the right word? I don't even think that's the right word. They are going to get obliterated and demolished by the Kansas City Chiefs, though. Not much more I even want to say about it. Yeah, the Chiefs had a scare, but that was really just them showing that they can stare in the face of adversity and overcome it. On the road, Patrick Mahomes didn't even throw a touchdown pass, and he still did what he needed to do to have that team be successful. So Kansas City is going to score 33 points in this game, and the Colts are going to score 22. Odd score, 33-22. Monday Night Football, the Cleveland Browns at the San Francisco 49ers, one of our last unbeaten teams in this league. I see a lot of hate, not hate, it's negligence towards the San Francisco 49ers. They're 3-0. I don't care that they've played scrub teams, because they have. They played Tampa in week 1 and got away with Jameis Winston playing one of the worst games of his career. And then they played the Bengals and the Steelers. And the only reason why the Steelers or Bengals have a win right now is because they played each other. I'm not a huge buy-in guy to the 49ers, but this is not a game that Cleveland's going to walk into and win easily, if at all. The Niners have a fantastic defense, but they are missing a lot of people on that defense. Jason Verrett just went on IR. Richard Sherman is not what he used to be. K'Wan Williams is a great slot corner, though, but he's going to have to maybe start playing outside. And the Browns are getting 2 wide receivers back this week. I am hearing Rashard Higgins and Antonio Callaway. That might actually be not a good thing, because now you might have too many cooks in the kitchen as far as wide receivers go. The 49ers have a great rushing defense with Nick Chubb going off last week, but you know how the NFL works. One guy will have a great week one week and then a terrible week the next week. Nick Chubb might not actually have as great of a game as people think he will. With all of that being said, I'm taking the Cleveland Browns again. I think the Browns are going to go in on the road where they're already 2-0 in primetime, where they have a favorable record. Baker Mayfield does, at least. I think they're going to go in and get it done. It might be really similar to that Broncos game they played last year, however. Like where they have to go in and have a defensive stand at the end of the game. Cleveland's defense is no joke either, though. They went in and played 2 pretty good offensive teams, like upper echelon offensive teams, and pretty much held them in check. So I think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to continue with his turnover problems, and that might actually doom the Niners late. But again, this game might even go into overtime. I think this is going to be a really close game. This is another one of those, 60-40 kind of picks. But I'm going to take the Cleveland Browns to win this game. Oh, they scored 40 last week. They're not going to score anywhere near what they scored last week. Let's say 26-24. Oh, that's the same score I picked for the Ravens game last week. Let's not do that. 27-21. The Cleveland Browns will emerge victorious. And thank you very much again for sitting through my Week 5 picks. We were a record of 8-7 last week. We picked more correctly than we did incorrectly, but that's easy when there's an odd number of games. So, odd number of games again this week, but we sit right now at a record of 38-27. If you have any discussion topics or questions at all and you want to go ahead and pose them to me, my Twitter will be right over here. Go ahead and send me those questions or just put them down in a comment on this very Facebook video. The record will be over here, and we'll see you all next week for an on-time picks video. Thank you so much.